right, welcome everyone. I'm Tim Hilchey. I'm the current chair of the Deerfield Select Board. I want to welcome everybody to this great event. A few prepared remarks, I'll keep them brief. So who knew that a parking lot could be so exciting? Or that when Deerfield town meeting voters in 1996 approved acquiring this site for a future parking lot, that it would take almost 30 years to realize that dream. You might say it's our parking lot of dreams. We've built it and we're sure visitors will come, making the Leary lot a true economic multiplier for downtown South Deerfield. When electric vehicles pull off the local highways to recharge for 20 minutes at our high-speed charging stations, our local stores and restaurants will be at hand to meet their needs. This project was financed by two federal programs, the American Rescue Plan Act and the Charging and Fuel Infrastructure Grant Program, funded by President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law. In November 2022, Deerfield was approached by Rivermore Energy's Director of Project Development and Management, David Pomerantz, somewhere here. And David is a Leiden resident, and he's familiar with our region. He and Rivermore Energy founder and managing director John Tortolet began advising the town on EV charging projects, and a collaboration between Rivermore and the town led to the Leary lot site coming into focus as a prime opportunity for a complete and major long-awaited town project. Rivermore assisted with the town's application to the pilot round of the Federal Highway Administration CFI grant program, and by leveraging extensive knowledge from town staff and volunteers, many of them who are here, and paired with Rivermore's subject matter expertise on EV infrastructure, the town put together a compelling application, which was the only project in Massachusetts to receive funding as part of this program, and one of 47 awards nationwide from the program, and the smallest municipality in the country to receive an award. And I think we might be one of the first projects to be completed. I want to recognize two people who were critical to the success of this project. Former Assistant Town Administrator Chris Nolan. Where are you, Chris? There he is. Who is now helping our local town of Montague, bringing his expertise to them. Chris, I also want to recognize interim and soon-to-be town administrator Christopher Dunn. If that's a surprise, I guess I let the cat out of the bag, sorry. Christopher picked up oversight of this effort after Chris Nolan left us to join Montague. And just as the construction was about to get underway, and he made sure Deerfield navigated all of the surprises that can pop up in a project of this size and level of complexity. I'd also like to thank a few folks, Kobe Gardner-Levine of Congressman McGovern's office, Elena Cohen from Senator Comerford's office, and Corinne Coryat of Representative Blaze's office. All three of these legislators have been strong advocates for Deerfield and its efforts to revitalize downtown South Deerfield. And I'd also like to finally acknowledge that efforts of current and former select board members Carolyn Shores-Ness and Trevor McDaniel, whose work during the COVID years laid the groundwork for this project today. And so thank you so much, and I'll turn it over to the next speaker. Thanks for coming.
Great, thank you, Tim. And we're going to have John Tortolet from Rivermore Energy speaking next.
Thank you, Chair Tim Hilchey. Much appreciated. We're really happy to be here today. It's such a great day, and it's so great to see all of the participants, private sector, governmental, municipal, state, federal, all come together to create an industry-leading fast charging project. The chargers that you see behind you are the fastest in the industry. We have level 3 chargers that will charge most vehicles in 20 minutes or less. We also have level 2 chargers, which are perfect for visitors, people going to restaurants, the employment base, and vibrant downtown South Deerfield where we're standing today. And people can take their time and leisurely charge over a couple of hours as they have a burger over at Berkshire Brewing Company, or a burrito, or a Polish sandwich, all within 2 or 3 blocks of where we're standing. It really takes a team to innovate, and that's what we experienced here. And in the 15 years that Rivermore Energy has been working in the Commonwealth, this is really one of the most rewarding projects that I've had the opportunity to participate in. And when we think about innovation, we really need to be thinking about, as I said, a multidisciplinary team. I wanted to take a moment to recognize the members of that team, most of whom are here today. Universal Electric is our electrical contractor for the project and managed all of the technology integration, the planning, and the installation of both the charging stations and the utility infrastructure, and they did a great job. Taylor Davis, Landscape and Construction, was tirelessly dedicated to this project. Taylor Davis did all of the beautiful site improvements that you see, and also a lot of things that you don't see, because this project is also leading edge in terms of environmental engineering. Underneath the surface of this pavement where you're standing is on-site stormwater management system. So the pavement is permeable, and there are rain gardens and tons of other areas here in terms of green space that are designed to mitigate what Deerfield is facing, unfortunately, due to climate change, which is increased levels of flooding. So the work that, no pun intended, that Taylor Davis did was really foundational to this whole project, and it's amazing what they got done in a relatively short period of time. Berkshire Design, on that same theme, is the project designer and engineer who designed all of this leading edge green infrastructure, environmental engineering, and as well as the landscape design, and obviously it came out extremely well. And then I'd like to also recognize Weston and Sampson Engineering of Reading, Mass., who did the site electrical infrastructure for all the electrical infrastructure improvements that you can see on the site today. We'd also like to thank our technology partners. We are using, as I said, leading edge technology in the entire industry, and we had the opportunity to work with a number of technology providers, including Autel, charging for level 3 charging, ChargePoint, charging for level 2 charging, Eaton for electrical infrastructure, Rexel Energy Solutions, which helped us in a major way around supply chain and logistics, and of course Eversource Energy, and the tireless Mike Kane, who coordinated all of Eversource's engineering team, operations team, construction teams to help us really get this infrastructure on site on time. This project was completed in about 10 and a half months, and that's just huge. I mean, the town received the grant about the middle of January of 2024, and we're now about approximately halfway through November. So to get a project done of this complexity, not just the charging, but all the rest of the site improvements, and to get all this equipment actually ordered and delivered and installed properly is somewhat miraculous. So thank you to the whole team. It's a pleasure for me now to introduce Joy Singh from Federal Highway. Joy.
Good morning, town of Deerfield. It is a great day for progress. And I really want to thank the town administrator. I'm very impressed that he was able to arrange for such nice weather. You are really on top of it. I'm from a very warm state. If we hit this temperature, we're canceling schools. So I am really impressed with all of you who are here in nothing more than a suit jacket. But it really is an exciting day for the town of Deerfield, and really for the whole notion of progress. This is the day that we open the very first East Coast project that is funded under the Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Grant Program, and only the second project in the whole nation that's funded under this program. Very exciting for us. This $2.46 million grant will help to support the town of Deerfield as you attract even more visitors to the South Deerfield Center, and as you provide options for families that may not be able to install charging infrastructure at their homes. Today, with the installation of these charging stations, we take an important step towards equity in transportation options. We take an important step towards economic growth for the town of Deerfield, and an important step for progress. Today, we are making an investment in the continued success for the town of Deerfield. It's an exciting day. As FHWA's acting administrator, Kristen White, noted, this project embodies the goals of the bipartisan infrastructure law by deploying American-made clean transportation infrastructure that shows our historic investment in combating climate change for future generations. The Federal Highway Administration is so very proud of this project, thrilled to be able to support this innovative idea, and especially excited about our relationship and our partnership with the town of Deerfield. Congratulations, Deerfield.
So next up, we're going to have Kobe Gardner-Levine from Congressman McGovern's office coming up to say a few words. And I do just want to give one more recognition. Universal Electric, we've got Dave Callahan here. They were instrumental in making sure the installation of these chargers could happen, so I just wanted to recognize them for their work on this project as well. So thanks so much. And Kobe, I'll hand it over to you.
Well, thank you so much, and this is a great day. Thank you all for being here to celebrate. After all this hard work that we've just heard about, we're finally here to mark the official next step that takes us that much further into our future here in Deerfield. And the continuous support that this project has received has finally made this day a reality. And I want to thank all of you for the roles that you played in that. I also want to recognize the partnership that we've had that has worked to make this day happen, and also that I know will continue to work for the town of Deerfield. And as part of that partnership, I'm thinking back to how proud the congressman and I were to work with the town, and in particular with my friend Chris Nolan for quite a while, Chris, up to this point. So this is that moment where we see the fruits of our labor. So I just want to recognize Chris Nolan and everyone in the town government. And look, we know these charging stations and this parking lot, that these are going to benefit Deerfield for years to come. And we know that they're part of a much larger picture. EV charging is part of the next generation of infrastructure so that we can have world-class infrastructure and work towards our climate goals simultaneously. And we need to deploy these everywhere as quickly as possible because electric vehicles are good for the climate, they're good for consumers, for air pollution, and the list goes on. And to meet growing EV demands and climate goals, we need to think of this as a practical and necessary idea across the board. And as we've heard, the bipartisan infrastructure law under the Biden-Harris administration funded a lot of these projects across the country. And with this legislation, we made a once-in-a-generation investment, which included EV chargers and getting our networks ready. And now we need to think about what will allow this moment to continue to grow and become more commonplace than it is right now. And in my view, our government, starting with the federal government, has a role and responsibility to encourage deployment of EVs and charging stations, because the bottom line is that these are a win-win for people and for the planet. Electricity is cheaper than gas, and electric vehicles have much lower maintenance costs over the lifetime of the vehicles. Economists and engineers have looked at this issue and agreed that the cost of charging an electric vehicle is equivalent to the cost of running a gas-powered vehicle for about $1 a gallon. EVs require far less maintenance than gas-powered vehicles, so it's not just the right thing to do, it makes economic sense. And as we continue their development, the electric vehicles are becoming more efficient and charging stations are becoming more readily available, including these that we're celebrating here today. And so now it's about how quickly we can make this transition. And I know we're headed in a good direction and we have an opportunity to do a lot of good, but with the shifting federal landscape that we're seeing, we know that it's more important now than ever for all of us to care about these issues. And no one said that energy transition is supposed to be easy. But when you look at the true costs, and I'm not just talking about the environmental costs here, I'm just talking about the dollars and cents right now, we've hit a cost competitiveness that makes so much more economic sense to rely on electric vehicles. And the reality is that this wouldn't have been successful if the community wasn't behind it. And I know I'm speaking for all of us here when I tell you how glad we are to have reached this point. And with this initiative, Deerfield is investing in a more sustainable future, and that's something we should all be proud of. So thank you to all of you for being here again to celebrate this occasion, and let's keep it up, Deerfield.
Great. So up next, we're just going to have some brief remarks from the Joint Office of Energy and Transportation. So Mike Scarpino, please come on up. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Morning, everyone. It's great to be here. Throw that down. In Deerfield for the opening of this first charging and fueling infrastructure, or you'll hear the acronym CFI funded station. So the press releases and everything have said in the Northeast, but the only other station that's open is in Washington State. So I would say everything east of Washington State, this is the next station that's open. I'm so happy to be here to celebrate with all the people that made this possible. For those that don't know me, my name is Mike Scarpino, and I've been working on energy and transportation programs going back almost 30 years. To put that in perspective, the Patriots hadn't won a Super Bowl. The Sox are still trying to reverse the curse. So that's how long I've been doing this, and this never gets old. Turning federal dollars into something in the ground that the public can use is really, that's what makes my job enjoyable. I'm now leading the technical assistance in the Northeast for the new, it's now 3 years old, Joint Office of Energy and Transportation, which was created through the bipartisan infrastructure law to support states and communities create a national and local charging network that's convenient, affordable, reliable, equitable, and safe. I've had the privilege to attend several ribbon-cutting events over the last 12 months in New York, Maine, Rhode Island, and Vermont, and those were associated with the NEVI, the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program. But as a Massachusetts native, I'm very happy to be here for the first CFI station opening in Mass. The goal of the CFI program is to bring that national charging network, along with good-paying jobs it creates, into every community, whether it's rural, suburban, or urban. The Joint Office is here to be a partner in government to work with communities to deploy chargers that meet local needs. I'm very proud of the work of the town of Deerfield, Rivermore Energy, Eversource Energy, and more importantly, all of the local community members that are here that made their voices heard about this project and did the work to make this station a reality. I also want to recognize the efforts of our federal partners at the Federal Highway Administration, Joy and her team, and the state partners at the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, Hayes and all of her team, who are busy with this and other programs and projects to further build out the Commonwealth's EV charging network so EV drivers can count on these stations to move them throughout the state, but then also jump on an EV corridor like I-90 and go across the country. I know this station will have many benefits beyond the jobs that it helped to create. It provides access to nearby charging that will make it easier for residents to drive electric if you can't charge at home. Visitors will be able to stop and charge off I-91, whether they're local residents or just passing through. And the local establishments will see more business and more spending. With this charging station, there's now 202,000 public charging ports in the U.S. and counting. I just heard this one yesterday. Nearly 1,000 new ports are being turned on every week, thanks to a combination of direct federal funding, tax incentives, state and local funding, and of course, private investment. So thanks again for the opportunity to be here today. On behalf of the entire Joint Office team, congratulations on opening the first CFI station in Massachusetts.
Great. Thank you, Mike. And next up, we've got Elena Cohen and Corinne Coriat. I guess you're going to come on up? Okay, great. From our state rep and senator's offices. So give them a warm welcome.
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day in Deerfield. We planned it just for you. My name is Corinne. I work for State Representative Natalie Blais, who unfortunately could not be here today, but is thinking about this project. As I think a lot of you know, she drives an EV and puts lots of miles on that car as a legislator, and is excited to be able to stop in her hometown now and charge on her way to Boston and back. We just wanted to say thank you so much. You know, what we do here in Western Mass really well is collaborate and work together on projects that are integral to our communities. So we want to just say thank you so much, and proud to support Deerfield in all of these efforts.
Thanks, Corinne. And I just want to add, I'm Elena Cohen. For those of you who don't know me, I work in Senator Joe Comerford's office. The senator also is very sorry not to be here herself, but we are thrilled to join with Rep. Blay and all of the local officials and our federal partners in celebrating this project. It's really just a thrilling intersection, I guess that's sort of a parking pun, but not quite, of green energy, climate resilience, and economic development, which is a trifecta we don't see every day. And I especially want to just name the contributions of the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program at the state level. Thank you for the applause. It's a program that our offices have really, has really consistently advocated for, because it provides resources for municipalities to do this kind of cutting-edge climate resilience work. Before yesterday, honestly, I didn't know that porous pavement was a thing. It sounds like an oxymoron, but here we're all standing on it. And I just, we know that Deerfield knows maybe better than most municipalities that we are living in a time and place when we need creative solutions to inland flooding, just like this one. So thank you all for supporting this project. We're thrilled to join in celebrating this milestone with Deerfield. Thanks.
Great. Thanks so much, Elena and Corinne. And we're going to have MassDOT Hayes Morrison come up in just a moment to say a few words. I did want to recognize also Hamshaw Lumber, our neighbors over on this side. It was actually a land swap with Hamshaw Lumber that made this project possible, and it's going to make it possible for them to have a 12,000 square foot retail location here as well. So really great partnership and economic development opportunity. But without further ado, Hayes Morrison.
Thank you, everyone, for having me today. This is the third event that I have done in Western Mass this month so far. Every single one of them has been sunny, so I think I'm moving. I just want to say a great thank you to Chair Hilchey for welcoming us all here today. I'll go anywhere for cider donuts, so thank you. Also, I have to say to former Assistant Administrator Nolan and coming in Administrator Dunn, you have set an amazing bar for us. Doing a project like this in 10 and a half months, and then, you know, you heard from Mike talking about what the state needs to do with its NEVI program. You have really set a bar, and I'm a competitive person, so congratulations and game on. This is, again, just, so before I came up, you talked about the land swap that brought this on, and it really does highlight that the projects that we do very rarely culminate in something that is economic development, design forward, and is really doing such an amazing thing for transportation infrastructure equity in such a small little package. This is beautiful. This is great. I am a former municipal official. I did know that there was such a thing, a pervious pavement, but was unable in that position to actually do any projects with it. So this is great, and you all should be so proud. Also, as you can imagine, this is a big deal and checks off so many of those goals from the Biden administration and the Healy Driscoll administration and my boss, Secretary Tibbetts Nutt, on just moving, again, these transportation infrastructure equity projects forward and smoothing our transition not only to electric vehicles, but also doing something for inland flooding, which is a very real issue, especially in the mountain towns of Western Mass. So congratulations. You all have done an amazing job, and should be a lot of hometown pride in this, and I hope that there is. The last thing that I want to do also is just give a shout out to some of our partners. So Andy Paul, who is in front of me, who has this very cute MassDOT button, And if any of you would like mascot lapel pins, I come bearing gifts. He has done an amazing job in advancing the NEVI program for Massachusetts, and you will start to see some of those chargers on our state highways very, very soon. But it is really heartening to see that the first one that is opening in Massachusetts is right here in Deerfield, and so gosh darn beautiful. And sunny and awesome. So with that, I think I might be the last speaker in the program. I have one more? Okay, sorry. So I will cut this short and just say again, thank you not only for welcoming us here today, but for being so fast and so good at your jobs. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Undersecretary Morrison. And I would just like to recognize the fact that MassDOT, on my drive in today, I was able to see some blue EV charging signs directed this way, exit 35, put up by MassDOT just this week. So really, really pleased to have that done so quickly. Really pleased. And finally, last remarks from Roger Cranberg from Eversource. Oh, there's Roger. Great. Welcome, Roger. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you very much. It's great to see everyone out here on a beautiful sunny day. As you can tell from my Boston accent, I'm not from here. On behalf of Eversource, and very much on behalf of Eversource, extremely proud and thrilled to be a partner in this project. I think one of the recurring themes you heard today is partnership. And I'll share with you, it definitely takes partnership to get something like this done. You've seen it, we're the private part of the partnership, but we're very much instruments of public policy. If you think of, utility, a classic utility, we're instruments of public policy. So partnership both with private, state, federal, multiple agencies in federal, and I spent 20 years in DC. That's not an easy thing. And then multiple agencies within state and then the community, first and foremost, the community. What I'm particularly thrilled about for the community is I think this is going to pull a lot of economic value into the community. And that plays into the bigger part of the role that we play in this energy transition. So I lead strategy, so a big part of what I focus on is what the future looks like, et cetera. And we have a key role in that future in transitioning to clean. Transportation, heat, but then also switching out the supply of energy to clean. And a lot of that is through electricity, to be quite honest. And talking about economic sort of development, economic value, it's much broader than the community. It starts at the community, it goes to the state level, regional level. I grew up in Texas, and one of the jokes I make is, there's no oil and gas production and refining in this region. So it keeps and brings the economic value of fueling your car, so to speak, locally. And a big part of that, in the transmission business, but more specifically to this project, a big part of that focus is our role on the distribution system, on the network, and preparing that network for the future. And the top sort of thing that we talk about and sort of very proud of is the electric sector modernization plan. And that's looking further into the future, looking at all the various aspects of what's going to be expected of the network and make sure that we make the investments and prepared for that. And a big part of that is as well as solar. That comes on the distribution network. So solar, EVs, heat pumps, you put that all together and you plan for the system going into the future. But more importantly, I think that the recurring theme you heard today is community, partners, let's get together, let's figure this out together. And there's a lot of sort of economic value to South Deerfield. So a big, big congratulations to South Deerfield and everyone that's been involved. This is, personally, it's thrilling and amazing. Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks so much, everyone. We're going to do a ribbon cutting over here in front of the EV chargers. So, I don't know, first 10 people to touch the golden scissors get to be in on that. And then we'll have a Q&A for media and photograph opportunities after that. So thanks so much. Really glad to have everyone here today, and enjoy your weekend after this. Thank you.
Yep. Look at that. Smile.
All right, somebody's going to drive this scissor. Why don't you do it, Joy?
Okay, all right.
We'll pull it tight. Good job. Great job.